Yeah, so for the guys that don't know, Jamel, he doesn't just talk, he's walked a little bit, he's played a little football himself, and speaking of Florida State, you've had a couple run-ins with Florida State, right? I had to throw that one in. He's had a run-in or two with Florida State. Give him the rundown, man. Just tell him kind of about the background you come from. I think people would be interested to know the level that you've played at, some of the games you've been in. Just give them a little rundown of your sort of your background, your experience.
Well, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I went to Spring Valley High School right there in Columbia. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship at Virginia Tech. I was at Virginia Tech for 5 years. I redshirted my first year. And I didn't know too much about Virginia Tech because I was a big South Carolina and Clemson fan. Sure. And when I got the opportunity to go to Virginia Tech, I mean, really that first year, that team, that 95 team kind of set the tone because of the work ethic. And, I just saw it. They wasn't big name guys, but, they put the work in, into the weight room, out on the field. Just didn't stop, was relentless, and we ended up going to the Sugar Bowl that first year. And from seeing where they started, because we started out 0-2 that first year, and just seeing how they worked and they continued to work and get better, and then beating Texas in the Sugar Bowl in '95 just kind of set the tone that this is how you become successful. This is how you can, you can make a name for yourself, or, you could be very successful in not only in football, but in life. And we try to take that, from the football field. It's just not only about football. It's about building these kids for a life after Lucy Beckham High School. Building that work ethic, building that discipline, building that being respectful of others. Because I just think, when you're respectful of others, that people will do good things for you. So just learning from that, my senior year, we played in the national championship against Florida State.
Not too shabby. A Virginia Tech team people probably remember you guys had an okay quarterback, right?
We had okay, Michael Vick. Michael Vick just brought a lot of explosiveness to our offense, and which we already had a good defense.
Who led the defense that year?
I led the defensive tackles.
Wow. There he is. The guy plays a little ball.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, it was a great game. We got down early, 28-7, then we came all the way back, took the lead 29-28, and then they had a couple of good football players by Chris Winky.
Yeah, you might have heard of
and Peter Ward that were very good, and they kind of closed it out. But I went on to play overseas NFL Europe. I got a couple of opportunities with, with some NFL teams. And then was fortunate to come back, and I was going to get back into school and work on my master's. And then Coach Noonan called me over. He was right down the street, called me over to Spring Valley and said, hey, just come out, just try coaching football. Try coaching football for 1 week, just see how you like it, and just, if you don't, then you go, and if you do, you stay on with us. And I've been coaching ever since. So, I really love it. I really love, coaching these kids and building great relationships, with the kids in the community. And, they're just like, I kind of see an image of myself, a guy that wants to be led and wants people to show you how to do the right things in life. And that's what myself, my coaches, and this whole athletic staff is going to do for our kids in the community of Mount Pleasant. So,
and I think you brought up something, Frank, just to let you know too. As far as when I got here a couple months ago, started talking to people. Everybody I ran in the community kept talking about Coach Smith. I love playing for him. I played for him. I graduated in Wando this year. Whatever. Just consistent. I'm like. Y'all stop telling me that,
they gas him up or what? Well deserved.
Listen to them talk football. I was like, man, I want to go back. So obviously I got to get in the weight room because I'm not.
We get you in shape, right?
And then the other thing too, you don't see as soon as I moved here. He's like, hey coach, can I help? Can I help move? Just the servant heart of just coming in and just being like, hey, I want to help. That was super cool. And as big as he is, I just put my whole fridge on his back.
On his back, and or over the shoulder, just
What was
right
your
out the
highest
front door.
Coach? What's the most?
The most I've ever done was 575.
That it? That all? That all? That it?
575.
Got a car outside.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a little workout before we get out of here. Hey man, well, we're excited. Obviously, like I said, football in this area is really gaining some momentum. We love what's been going on. So we're looking forward to the fall, man. Looking forward to seeing how you guys kind of bring the JV up, and then in a few years we'll be getting after those. Hey, those Wando Beckham games are going to be fun, huh? In a couple of years, that'll be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun against each and
against
every high school in this year.
Yeah, lots to look
Definitely,
forward to,
we look
man.
forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you hanging out
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Nice gear too, man.
Looking good. He's
Under
sharp.
Armour gear.
He's sharp.
Got the
Golly.
navy blue.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, we got one more. You want to bring out one more?
Yeah.
Let's see who else.
Most
Let's see if we can
recent hire.
find anyone else out
Recent
here.
hire. Let's bring out Coach Glover.
Guys who don't know, Andrew Glover won a couple rings in his day. Won a couple rings in his day. Most famously in this area, won a state championship over there in 2014 with Wando. He's been all around there. You've had a really cool sort of path the past few years, and just to be able to be back in this community, man, how cool is that? A community you grew up in, community you've won in before. You know what it takes, man. You came up through this system. It's got to be awesome to be back here.
Right, yeah, even dating further back, my mom is from Charleston. She was born.
Might have heard of his mother, Alexis Glover. She, coaches a little volleyball here and there, but
it's cool. My entire family's here.
Yeah.
Even my dad's from Tennessee, and his sister and mom moved down here.
Mm-hmm.
So this place has been home ever since I was born, and I ventured off after high school, and got to experience some really cool basketball with some really cool things, and go places that I never thought I would go, but the game of basketball took me. So I'm very fortunate for that. Just being able to give back to this community, hopefully, the kids in this community will be able to get out and experience some of the things that I experienced along the way.
That's a really good point, man, the different experiences you've had. So after high school, you went to Hargrave, which is pretty well-known prep school, and then after that, you hit a couple of colleges. You won 2 state championships at Great Collegiate as assistant there.
Right.
You had a year as an assistant at USC Aiken. All these different experiences, different coaches, different players you've been a part of. How has that sort of molded kind of where you are today as a coach?
Man, I tell you what, it's if anything, it's probably just confused me along the way because there's so many different philosophies. But no, every single coach I played for has been a younger coach.
Yeah.
Coach Eaton and Coach W at Wando, moving forward to Coach A.W. Hamilton at Hargrave, who's now the head coach at Eastern Kentucky University. Going to John Crimmins, who was my coach at Spartanburg Methodist, the nephew of Bobby Crimmins, who was the legendary head coach at Georgia Tech and College Charleston.
Right.
And then, moving on and getting to work with Dion Bethay up at Great Collegiate, who he just capped off his 3rd straight state championship. And then going back to USC Aiken and playing for my old coach, Coach Vanderslice, who is one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my life. And very fortunate to play for him and even now work for him. I can't thank him enough for the opportunity he gave me this past year at USC Aiken. But all the guys that I've played for, worked for, one common theme is just never stop working, and team chemistry is everything. You want your guys to get along. You want your players to like their teammates. You want the player-coach relationship to be there and be strong. And more than that, you want the community to love the team, and you want the team to love on the community. And that's something that's going to be big with me. I'm from here. My parents' house that I grew up in is 2 miles that way. And this the entire town of Mount Pleasant is very special, especially Wando is my alma mater.
Sure.
And my mom is still there, obviously, but Beckham, I'm excited, and really and truly, I was telling Matthew Pegram, one of my old teammates, this morning.
Shout out Pegs. You might remember him from
Matthew
the state
Pegram.
championship team.
Yes,
Walford played a little ball.
Yeah, I was telling him and that one of the biggest draws for me to take this job was just the fact that it's named after Lucy Beckham.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A lady that I knew my entire life. She was my mom's boss. She was my principal. Coach Smith worked for her.
Absolutely.
For everyone that knows, I played for Coach Smith in high school. He was outside linebackers coach when I was a wide receiver. So I can vouch for him. He's a heck of a coach. But no, Miss Beckham was an unbelievable human being. And that's one of the first things I told Coach McInnes when I met him. That hey, you know,
Months ago.
yeah, you know, hey, you know, be really honored that you get to be there, because Miss Beckham was an unbelievable human being, and you know what an honor it is to represent Miss Beckham in her name in the best way I know how, which is to coach basketball.
Absolutely, man. So we were saying a little bit earlier, Scott, you've coached a little basketball, right? You've won a couple games. Very easily could have taken the program yourself. Could have hired any number of people. You go with a younger guy. You go with a guy who still has a lot to prove. What was it about Andrew that you saw in him? You're like, this is the guy that's going to lead our basketball program.
Yeah, I think the one thing that hit right off is you know, especially at a new school, I think culture is just essential.
Right.
If you lose the locker room, if you lose the culture, I know that's kind of the buzzword now, but even years ago, just the relationships. You know, it just happened that his current boss, at Aiken is a good friend of mine, Coach Vanderslice. So, you know, he was real honest about some things, because you know I wanted to just kind of just be all out and transparent. He was, and the thing we just talked about is his relationships with those players, and just knowing him. One of my players, you know, played for him, Faison Brock.
Yeah. Okay, score.
My guy, yeah.
He's pretty good.
He scored
He's a pretty good rebounder too.
He's done a few things in his career. Yeah.
But you know, I knew he was going to win the relationships, and then
Yeah.
the second piece, you know, I think for a coach is just hard work, and you know, from all the coaches we've had today, and I'd say the same thing about him. I mean, we've got a hard worker who's great with the student athletes, going to care about them and put them first. So super excited. I mean, he's going to do a great job.